Welcome to Wonder X. We are back with a marvelous video for the Marvel fans out there. While watching Loki, we often get stick to our attractive god of mischief, so you could have missed some things on the screen which may be important. And that's what we have got for you today. Top 10 things you missed in Loki episode 2. And before we go further, we issue a spoiler alert. Since we get into deeper details, it is best advised to watch this after you watch the episode. And now without any delay, let's get going. Number 10. Near the beginning of the episode, Loki is getting tutored on everything about the Time Variance Authority by Miss Minutes. Of course, even we too get bored of lectures. So when he gets bored of her lecture, he tries to attack her sort of living form. Then she is eventually able to escape into the computer and take a jab at the God of Mischief. And after when Mobius asks how Loki's training is going, we would ask you to freeze the screen to see Miss Minutes on the computer screen. Then you'd get to see her looking extremely angry and suggesting that Loki has failed the TVA test. This subtle yet hilarious clap act shows how sassy Miss Minutes can be. Although she gave him a failing grade, Loki later proves that he at least tried to do the TVA's homework. You know, most of us has that one friend who fails the test but never fails to impress the teacher in the classroom. Loki is such a kid. Number 9. Although Loki grew up believing that he was an Asgardian and the son of Odin, his father was actually a frost giant named Laufey. And this revelation shocked and deeply hurt the God of Mischief when he first found out. Yeah, anyone could have heard the same way. While he's in TVA, when Mobius is showing off different Loki variants, unfortunately he's reminded of his true nature when we see a blue version of the God of Mischief that seemingly embraced her frost giant heritage. The God of Mischief also get an icy insult about the parentage in the episode. So if you don't want Loki to give you the cold shoulder or irritate you to the core with his mischief, then you better not make any frost giant jokes around him. Number 8. Remember when Judge Renslayer hands Mobius a pen with the words Franklin Delano, Roosevelt High School on the side? Does it ring a bell? No problem, we're here for you. Although we're not sure where or when she got it from, but we sure know how important this precedent is in the MCU. After Roosevelt gets into office, he kicks off a course of events that eventually lead to formation of S.H.I.E.L.D. Yeah, the one that gathers our hearty Avengers. Employees of this notable spy agency have done everything from protecting the timeline to bringing the Avengers together. We know that the MCU would be very different or maybe disastrous if Roosevelt hadn't created the agency that became S.H.I.E.L.D. But we're still not sure if another notable MCU figure gave Renslayer the pen that honored the president's legacy. But still, it's a good reminder to one of the important aspects of MCU. Number 7. After TVA agent Mobius asked Loki to research on the time-hopping doppelganger, they stop right in front of a number 372. Their position on the screen is a huge comic Easter egg. The TVA, Time Variance Authority, was officially introduced in the Mighty Thor issue number 372. In the story, Loki's brother Thor teams up with a member of TVA to stop a villain. The God of Thunder notably bends the rule of time to prevent a terrible incident before it ever happened. Ironically, the TVA tells Loki how dangerous it is to mess with the time the way Thor did. Well, the God of Mischief might understand the rule of time more than the God of Thunder does. What do you think? Number 6. Wherein Loki continued her rampage through the timeline at the Renaissance Fair in 1985. If you're a Back to Future fan, you might have immediately gasped when you saw her in year 1985. In the classic sci-fi film, Marty uses a time machine in the year 1985. That's one cool reference. We would be delighted to see Loki to have a chat with Emmett Brown. But sadly, that's not gonna happen. Since Marty and Doc from Back to Future have a habit of messing and altering the timelines, the TVA would have already arrested them. Number 5. Episode 2 opens with a scene set at Ren Fair in Oshkosh in 1985. That's the latest setting for the Loki's variant killing spree, and it has a surprisingly deep connection to the series. Oshkosh was the hometown of Marvel Comics editor and writer Max Grunwald, and he was the author of the Definitive Captain America run, where he created Flag Smasher, Battlestar, and US Agent 3 characters you just saw in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. But Grunwald has even closer tie to Loki. The character of Mobius was originally created to look just like Mark Grunwald, right down to his signature mustache. The character is now played by Owen Wilson, who of course has a mustache. And because we love the character, we have to point out that the cosmic hero Kassar, aka Wendell Vaughan, was also from Oshkosh. And Grunwald's epic run on his solo series is a super fun read. So if the MCU wants to keep celebrating the work of Mark Grunwald, then give us Kassar. We will love that. Number 4. Did you observe that a lot of Loki's vibes come from the David Fincher's film Seven? During the press conference ahead of the series premiere, director Kate Herron spoke about Seven's influence.
Cool. And did you say that David Fincher might have been an influence as well in the series?
So definitely Fincher was.
Now for those who don't know what the needle drop is, when Loki approaches the help desk in TVA library, the librarian is listening to John Sebastian Bach Orchestral Suite No. 3 in D major. And that's exactly the same piece of music that can be heard in Seven while the two detectives were researching their serial killer. So give us a thumbs up if you didn't notice it.
I need you to go over each and every one of the variance case files and then give me your, how do I put it, your unique Loki perspective.
And now before we go into the top 3 spots, we just have one request from you. We want you to go ahead and subscribe to Wonder X so that you don't miss any future videos that we upload every week. Number 3. The big box store that serves as a battleground between the Loki, a squad of TVA Minutemen, and a deadly Loki variant is one of the few things that connecting the Marvel Cinematic Universe to the Marvel television shows of yesterday. Roxxon is a massive conglomerate, as you'd expect a massive conglomerate in a superhero universe to be. Reference to Roxxon have been seen in Cloak and Dagger, Runaways, Marvel Daredevil, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., etc. And on the movie front, Roxxon's been referenced in the Iron Man trilogy as well. It is also worth pointing out that Roxxon was a primary antagonist during the Jason Aaron and Russell Dederman's Thor run in the comics a few years back, the run that introduced Jane Foster as the all-new Thor. Do you think Roxxon can be a part of the next Thor movie? Well, we just have to wait and find out. Number 2. At the end of Loki episode 2, we finally meet the Loki variant that's been causing all the bloody mischief. This Loki is played by Sophia DiMartino and she is even more ruthless than Loki we already know. But there may be a lot more going on here, and not just DiMartino playing a variant of Loki. And there's a speculation that she's actually playing the Asgardian villain Enchantress. Let me elaborate it. Both Loki and Enchantress have a similar color scheme, green, which explains their similar palette. And we also see DiMartino's villain possessing others, literally enchanting them. The strongest evidence that this character is a take on Enchantress can be found in the credits for Castilian Spanish dub of the episode. Yeah, in those credits the character is called Sylvia. In the comics, the second Enchantress was named Sylvia Lushton. With all that considered, it seemed like we are in for a lot more reveals about his character. So sit tight, there are surprises for you. Number 1. The episode ends with a revelation of Loki's plan that she is blowing up the sacred timeline. The TVA detectives notice that this killer was taking all the reset charges from every squad she slaughtered. Reset charges are what TVA uses to prune delinquent timelines and completely disintegrates the area around the breaking point and making it so that the deviation never happened. And the bad Loki took all those reset charges that she stole and dropped them into points throughout history, which disinterrupted and destroyed the parts of timeline that were never meant to be disturbed. And it is probably a lead into the next year's Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. And do you think the TVA is going to be able to fix a problem this colossal in next 4 episodes? Judging by the title of Doctor Strange 2, it looks like the attack on the timeline will pose problems for the MCU for years to come. So there is just going to be a humongous entertainment. And talking about entertainment, we'll give you the top 10 things that you might have missed in Loki episode 3 in the coming video. And meanwhile, you can watch one of these 2 videos. With that being said, we'll take your leave and we'll see you again at Wonder X with an amazing top 10.